safer world is possible, and together we can and will make it happen. Thank you.
When you show up in community, you find that group that makes you feel like home, but oftentimes you also find yourself again.
Well, I think what they've done is one of the most courageous and fearless things I've seen. I think I think to walk away from all of that, the public grief that we know about, but to all of that family pain. Well, we should think of the Queen as a great-grandmother, and we should think of Prince Charles as a dad. I mean, they will all be suffering from this hugely. And Harry has chosen to walk away from all of that to protect his wife and his children. And I think that you got the analysis of the media totally right, that the angriest media is from the angriest people, or the people feeding Mr. and Mrs. Angry. But I think all of us need to look at ourselves and think of this as a family that's been blowing itself apart, probably no more seriously than many families are going through or have gone through and haven't been able to walk away. But we're thinking of these as, if we think of them as human beings, as sons and daughters and sisters-in-laws and mother-in-laws and great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers, our hearts should be bleeding for these two.
You're not in any way suggesting they should be bleeding more for these two than for people, stuck in a dinghy in the middle of the English Channel or living in Syria at the time, or even people using food banks. But it's not either or, is it? This is one of the great mysteries of our era.
It's not either or, and we are showing ourselves more and more to be a nation with less and less compassion less and less tolerance of different people, different choices. I mean, that was what was going on in the family. I mean, without knowing any of the detail or any of the personalities involved, it was differences of opinion, it's differences of definition of duty, it's differences of definition of loyalty. And for Meghan, what she was being asked to become was completely impossible for her to be who she really was.
It was "Can you protect us" as well that resonated with me, or we just wanted some help. We wanted some protection.
Can you help me? No.
Because what we're being exposed to is different from what everybody else has been exposed to. So the fact that we're getting less help and support is the argument they made. It actually makes sense of everything. But if you don't understand, then you are much more easily manipulated into a kind of unfocused anger, aren't you, or into indignation?
And we see this with every rabbit hole and conspiracy theory going. The anti-vaxxers, the anti-maskers, the Bill Gates theorists. I mean, the sensible, intelligent people get hooked up in this because they're only exposed to their own bubble and they're terrified of being wrong.
I guess we are all terrified of being wrong at some stage in our life, but what I saw...
Well, some of us less than others.
Well, no, some of us have written a book about it, Adrian, but no one likes a self-publicist.
And I've read them both. I think that this ability to be vulnerable and wrong and human is what they've shown us in that interview. I believed every word of it. I don't believe they were mincing their words. They did announce at the beginning of the interview that they weren't being paid for it.
They want to get their version of events on the record. And
they want to get their version of events on the record to appeal to the reasonable, sensible, rational, nuanced thinkers in society, which are fewer and fewer and fewer.
Hello, Sussexful family. I'm your host, Emma. And remember, dear audience, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Sussexful, and share this channel with all loyal Sussex supporters around the world. Now, in today's heartfelt video, we're diving into an emotional and powerful moment from LBC, where a caller told James O'Brien, "Our hearts should be bleeding for Harry and Meghan," and I couldn't agree more. These are two brave people who have stood side by side through relentless criticism, lies, and cruelty, yet they continue to rise with grace, unity, and compassion. The caller spoke with such intelligence and humanity, reminding us that it's not either or. We can care deeply about those facing poverty and injustice, and also acknowledge the pain of those, like Harry and Meghan, who have endured racism, mental health struggles, and ruthless media attacks, simply for living their truth. Prince Harry has faced death threats, especially after his time in Afghanistan, and yet, some still refuse to see his humanity. This is a family that has endured so much, but continues to shine light where there is darkness. Watch the full video and join the conversation below. Do you agree with the caller that Harry and Meghan deserve more empathy and understanding? Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and share Sussexful with fellow Sussex supporters. Let's keep spreading truth, kindness, and positivity for Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet. The compassionate lens, understanding Harry and Meghan's struggle. James O'Brien's nuanced perspective cuts through the typical tabloid narrative, revealing a profound empathy for Harry and Meghan that transcends social stratification and privileged status. By acknowledging that their experiences of racism, mental health challenges, and media persecution are valid regardless of their societal position, O'Brien challenges the reductive public discourse that dismisses their genuine suffering. The couple's vulnerability, marked by death threats, particularly against Harry, whose military service in Afghanistan further underscores his personal sacrifices, demands a more compassionate understanding. Their story isn't a competition of hardships, but a human narrative of two individuals navigating unprecedented public scrutiny while attempting to protect their family's emotional and psychological well-being. The royal struggle, understanding Harry and Meghan's painful journey. In the harsh glare of public scrutiny, Harry and Meghan stand as a vulnerable couple navigating an unprecedented storm of media hostility and personal attacks. Their experience reveals a deeply human narrative of resilience, two individuals fighting not just for their personal dignity, but for a broader understanding of mental health, racism, and the complex dynamics of privilege. While critics might dismiss their struggles as the complaints of wealthy celebrities, their story demands genuine compassion. They are real people enduring death threats, relentless media persecution, and the profound emotional toll of being systematically targeted, all while attempting to protect their family and speak their truth in an often unsympathetic environment. The royal struggle, compassion beyond privilege. You know, the pervasive dismissal of Harry and Meghan's experiences with racism and mental health challenges reveals a deeply troubling societal tendency to invalidate suffering based on perceived privilege. Their public narrative exposes the harsh reality that even those with significant social and economic advantages are not immune to the devastating impacts of systemic racism and psychological torment. The knee-jerk reaction to minimize their struggles, rooted in a toxic mentality of comparative suffering, fundamentally misunderstands the universal nature of human pain. Whether facing media vilification, death threats, or the profound psychological toll of persistent racial discrimination, Harry and Meghan's experiences demand genuine empathy and serious consideration, regardless of their royal status or financial resources. The royal couple's media crucifixion. The British media's relentless assault on Harry and Meghan has been nothing short of brutal, a systematic campaign of character assassination that has mercilessly stripped away their dignity and peace of mind. Day after day, tabloids and news outlets have weaponized headlines, spinning narratives designed to tear apart their reputation, undermine their credibility, and inflict psychological damage. This constant barrage of negative press has taken an immense emotional toll, transforming what should have been a loving family's journey into a public spectacle of pain and persecution, where every personal struggle becomes fodder for sensationalist reporting and public judgment. Harry and Meghan, a life under constant threat. The shadows of danger loom persistently over Harry and Meghan, with death threats casting a dark and relentless specter, especially after Harry's, courageous military service. The couple's safety isn't just some casual concern, It's an urgent, critical priority that really demands immediate and, well, comprehensive attention. After facing such intense media scrutiny and personal attacks, they're all too aware that their public visibility comes with some pretty significant risks, making security an absolutely essential part of their daily lives. These threats aren't just abstract possibilities, they're real, tangible dangers that could actually compromise their personal safety and the well-being of their family. It just goes to show the constant vigilance required to protect themselves in this increasingly hostile public landscape. Compassion without boundaries. True empathy, honestly, requires a nuanced understanding that suffering isn't a zero-sum game. While we absolutely need to center our compassion for those experiencing systemic oppression, poverty, and abuse, we can't just dismiss the very real emotional pain felt by individuals who might seem privileged. Our capacity for human understanding should be, well, expansive enough to recognize that mental anguish, racism, and targeted harassment can impact anyone, no matter their social standing. Privilege doesn't immunize someone from profound psychological harm, and by recognizing this complexity, we're showing a more mature, sophisticated kind of empathy, one that refuses to get stuck in these simplistic hierarchies of suffering. Navigating empathy in a divided world. The toxic mindset of just dismissing others' struggles because they look privileged is, honestly, a dangerous and corrosive perspective that really undermines our collective humanity. When we reflexively respond to someone's pain with, "You have it better than me, so you can't possibly suffer," we close ourselves off from any real understanding and compassion. True empathy means recognizing that hardship, discrimination, and emotional distress aren't exclusive to a single socioeconomic class or background. Each person's experience is valid and worthy of genuine listening and support, no matter what their external circumstances might be. By cultivating a more nuanced and open-hearted approach, we can start to break down the barriers that divide us and, hopefully, create space for mutual respect and meaningful connection. The royal family's personal struggle, a call for compassion. In the midst of their tumultuous journey, Harry and Meghan really stand as a poignant reminder that even those who seem protected by privilege aren't immune to profound human suffering. Their family faces challenges that cut deep, from relentless media scrutiny to the insidious impacts of racism and mental health struggles, revealing a vulnerability that honestly demands our collective empathy. While some might dismiss their experiences as just the complaints of the privileged, the reality is a lot more nuanced. At their core, they're a family navigating extraordinary pressures, just seeking understanding and basic human dignity in a landscape that often feels designed to break their spirit. Their courage in speaking truth, especially about the psychological toll of constant public criticism and systemic discrimination, should be met not with cynicism, but with genuine compassion and a real willingness to listen.